Hello everybody, we're here again today on our day 28 of our 30 days 30 tips challenge on burnout. And today we're talking about a very specific approach that can help in coping with stress, anxiety and burnout. And it's the CBT approach. And probably you have heard it already. It's what we call cognitive behavioral therapy. And why we chose that? Because it's very famous and everybody knows about CBT, and it's the most widely used approach in order to in order to help with anxiety, depression and burnout. And that was one of the questions that I actually got from one of you on Instagram. How can CBT help with burnout? Of course, CBT is not the only approach. And you can see also how CBT is integrated in the other approaches like schema therapy or the third wave approaches that they're also based and derived from CBT, so that you can see that CBT helps, but it doesn't need to be by itself, but it can be also surrounded with other techniques and strategies in order to help with mental disorders or mental issues. So let's start with a metaphor so that I can explain to you how we can use, how CBT can help. Imagine that you're in the forest and you're surrounded by trees. And there are so many that at some point you get lost. You don't know where to go. So that's one image. Now transfer yourself now up in the mountain where you can actually have an overview of the forest. You're not in the forest anymore, but you can see what happens in the forest. This is how CBT helps. The forest and the trees are your thoughts. And when we are lost in the forest, we are lost in our thoughts. We're very overwhelmed. We don't know what to do. We don't know which direction to go. And at some point, we get immersed in this environment that we don't know who we really are. On the other side, when we are up in the mountain, we have the overview of our thoughts. The forest, as I said, is the thoughts. We have the overview of our thoughts. We can see that we are not our thoughts, but we can see them. We can selectively focus our mind into some of them and ignore some else. So that you can see we have a specific power or control when we can see our thoughts from an overview. And this is what happens with CBT. CBT is called cognitive behavioral therapy because it focuses a lot on our cognitions, on our thoughts. And the more we understand our thoughts, the more we are in control of our mental health. It's very fundamental to know, to be aware of our cognitions, of our thoughts. Otherwise, we'll get overwhelmed. And it's not easy, because our thought is just air. It's not something tangible. And they go so fast that we don't even understand that we had some thoughts. So only when we stop, we pause and we start focusing and asking ourselves questions. Why and what does it mean and what is this? What is that for you? Then we reach into the bottom of our thoughts and what we say as core beliefs. We start with the automatic thoughts that they're the first thoughts that come usually in our head. And then with all the questions, we reach into our core beliefs. And to give you an example, let's say you are applying for an interview. The first automatic thought that you have is like, oh yeah, I know, they're not going to take me. They're going to take somebody else. That's your first thought. But once you start exploring that thought, and why do you say that, and where did you get that from, and who said that to you about yourself, and all these questions, and what does it mean for you, then there's a high chance that you will reach a thought which is more about you, a more fundamental thought about the idea you have about yourself, which is because I'm not important, because I have failed, I'm a failure, because I'm stupid, I'm not smart, because I'm not good enough. So you will reach those thoughts that they are the core beliefs. So CBT helps us understand our thoughts, first and foremost. It also gives us the space and the time so that we can understand, to pause and realize what we're thinking about ourselves or about others at that very moment. It helps us see our thoughts from an overview and have more control. And do you know what happens when we have this overview? We can choose which thoughts we want to focus on and which not. We can be more in control into which of these thoughts are helpful and not, which of these thoughts are actually true and which not. We stand back and we can see that not all of them are helpful, not all of them are true. The fact that they are in my head, it doesn't mean that they are based on specific evidence and they are actually helpful. So that's the new stance that we have now for our thoughts. We can see them, we can understand them, we can question the thoughts, we can understand their origin, we can understand how they are connected to our self-image, and we can reverse them now. We can change them. And it doesn't mean that we go from a negative thought to the other extreme, to a very positive thought. We don't need to go from, yeah, they're not going to take me in this job, into, I'm the best, of course they will take me. No, but we need a more realistic approach, more realistic thought in our head so that it can help us and not demotivate us. Like, for example, I don't know whether they will take me. I will do my best and I will go there. I think I have enough skills for this job. I will do my best and I will see and I will wait. I know it's a process and I know it takes some rejection until you hear the final yes. What about this thought? That's a healthy and helpful thought that, of course, doesn't make me brag or it creates an illusion about me, but at the same time, it doesn't demotivate me. It doesn't make me think that I deserve to fail or I deserve rejection. It's somewhere in the middle, and it helps me stay grounded and still go on in my effort. CBT is practical. CBT is efficient. It's very much to the present moment, focuses to the present moment, and it helps us become more independent, because the moment you get the grip on how to use CBT and how to repeat it at your own time, you become very independent and feel so strong in managing negative thoughts, therefore anxiety, depression, and burnout. Thank you very much for being here today. I hope it was helpful for you. Take good care of yourself. See you again tomorrow.